This is an old builder's bag that was used for compost. Probably finished it maybe by March, and the level was way up over the top of this fence then. And waited a couple of months for it to drop down a little bit, and then we topped up the level with some homemade compost and sowed some potatoes in it, which you can see have had the frost slightly, but I think they'll be okay. Also put a kale in there that wasn't doing very well, but he seemed to be doing much better now. He was ready for the compost heap. And then we just had a top dressing of wood chip to keep the moisture in and the weeds, to stop the weeds from coming out. We are the 10th of August. This is how I'm getting along with growing vegetables in composts. These are my leeks. Interplanted with the leeks I have had beetroot, and I've been gradually taking those out as and when. There's some in here, and they're very healthy. I have had to put slug pellets down, but only about twice. Obviously slugs don't really affect leeks anyway, so it was just the other things that I've had in these containers that would have been affected by them. But actually the sizes of the leeks I've been very impressed by. This is a compost that we've been filling up over the summer. It's been quite interesting because we've had it full and then put this grid on top of it, and then the stuff at the bottom has sunk, and you can see it started to sink again. So it's lasted us quite a long time, this compost, and each time the bag has sunk, periodically we will hoik it up again, and then that gives us a little bit more space to put some more compost. We've topped this with horse manure so that it gets a really good capping and a good covering of everything else that's in there. These are the potatoes which I've had growing in the compost bin. Going back to how high the level of that was right at the beginning of the year, it was way above the level of the green picket fence, and you can see how it's dropped. It's probably now 1.5 to 2 foot lower, and in fact I've put wood chip on top of the level as the potatoes came up, so that level has been raised. But the earth underneath is lovely. So I'm not sure whether to grow things again in this builder's bag or whether to use this compost for potting compost for next year. But all in all, I would say that growing out the top of a compost, bearing in mind there's still probably unrotted compost in there, I think it's been a real success and a real space saver. It's September now, and this is the end of the experiment of growing things in an old compost bin. In this case it was a builder's bag. I didn't film the first section of potatoes that I got out of here because I didn't think, although the potatoes have grown really well, I didn't think that the harvest would be that good, but it was amazing. Probably the best potatoes I have ever grown. Bearing in mind that this is a semi-shaded area, and the potatoes were growing in normal garden waste compost, vegetable scraps, a bit of chicken waste as well in there, so just everything from the garden. And then I think I put about 10 inches of compost that had already been composted, which was actually from the church, an old compost, and then wood chips on top of that. So I'm going to try and film a little bit of this harvesting, and then I'll show the end of the potatoes right at the end. But I would definitely do this again, definitely, because it's a great opportunity to grow on the top of your compost, which is normally something that, you know, would just be a wasted area. The other things that have done really well are these leeks. I mean, they've done really well, and you can see how the level has dropped in there, but the leeks are doing really well. Again, I think that was leaves in those underneath, just leaves from last year, and then 10 inches of compost on the top, and they have done really well. They've hardly been watered at all this year, which is amazing considering they're raised and the sides are permeable. They've just done ridiculously well, so I will definitely be doing that again. This is the next compost getting ready. That's just normal garden waste in there with some just some manure on the top to help it break down, and then we'll probably wait for the level to go down to the top of the that bag, and then we'll put a bit of homemade compost on top, and I shall definitely be growing something in that next year. Dig away and then you don't find anything. Oh gosh, look at those worms. Wow, lots of lovely worms there. Let's put them to one side so they don't get damaged. And he's not bad. These have just been so big compared to the size that I normally get. I've just been really impressed with them. Anyway, I'm going to continue to dig, and then I'll put them all in the bucket and we'll see what we've got from 3/4 of this thing that's left. It's just been incredible. Almost a full bucket, and this is what I've been going down to. I mean, these potatoes are really good sizes. That's, you know, I'm not used to growing potatoes that large. So, and it's also really easy to harvest them and make sure that you're getting all the potatoes, because you just don't even need a fork. I can't believe the size of that. I've never grown anything that large before. That's fantastic. It's really exciting to just keep harvesting and finding more. Even that last little one, he looks good. So just found the label. We got these from Aldi last year. They were organic potatoes, and I think I put 5 in. We'll have a look back on the video when I catch up with all the others that I made about this section, but that's definitely a good bucket full of potatoes and really lovely sizes. I mean, just really impressive. So I'll definitely do that again. What I'll do with this compost next year, I might just use it for compost because it's obviously rotted down now, but I might grow maybe some onions or something like that in it, either some Egyptian onions or some Welsh onions for the spring, because they seem to be fairly slug hardy, and there are probably still a few slugs and things lurking around in there. I did see a little beetle go down there, so he's good, but there's quite a few wood lice, so I don't think they're too keen on oniony type things, so hopefully the onions will go well in those. We'll see what happens. So this is the potato harvest from 3/4 of that builder's bag. Overall, I'm really pleased. There are a few slug holes in the potatoes, but not many of them, and they're definitely something that I'd cut away. Bearing in mind I didn't put any fertilisers in this. They're organic potatoes to start with, and we're just in compost and composted compost and unrotted compost at the bottom. I'm really pleased. Also, the other thing I've never seen when I've been digging potatoes is this. Obviously some of them do go green, but I've never seen potatoes wanting to grow again, desperate to start again at this time of the year, which is September. So I don't know whether that's the back to Eden thing or not. But it is quite amazing. So these little ones that wanted to sprout, I'm just going to put those back in the earth and let them take their chances over the winter. So this is the compost a year on. We started it maybe this time last year, filling it up. It's had the potatoes in from spring until now, which is September, and I planted straight in it the Welsh onions. And as you can see, the level is dropping quite considerably now. So when we finish this compost heap, the level was probably up to here, I would think. It's quite high. And I think I built the sides up, so it was really quite high. So that's how much it's dropped. Probably the height of it is now 2.5 foot, something like that. And I would expect by the time those onions are harvested in the spring, it'll probably be 2 foot, maybe 1.5 foot. So we'll see how those little onions grow.